Hello, my name is Natatsa, and I felt compelled to make this video because there is a lot of contradictory advice in the healing community. Like, change your habits, change your diet, change your mindset, keep improving yourself constantly. But there is also the advice of let it go, accept who you are, accept where you are, focus on the things that you have today. Even some people that say that wanting new things is not so good. I was also inspired by a comment I saw on YouTube of a frustrated guy that said, okay, I am trying to get new friends. I keep putting myself out there. I keep trying, but I am not getting these friends. At which point do I still keep going or just, accept the situation and move on with my life? I'm gonna give you my take based on I would say even 10 years that I've been doing healing and how it has felt for me when I finally found the way to make it happen, to make my healing work and not feel like I am constantly doing the same things, but I am actually leaving problems behind and getting into a much better point. So to me, different advice applies to a different phase. I'm gonna assume that everybody that is struggling right now is in the first phase, the oblivious one. In here, let's imagine that this is you and this is your consciousness looking at what is going on. In here, you're going to have a cloud of distraction that is not going to allow you to see what is behind. That will be social media, YouTube, maybe drama if you always need something to be happening in your life. Maybe achievements, yeah, like always be chasing something, and when you have that, then you find another thing to achieve, and like that forever. The same can go to problem solving, always having a problem to analyze or something to solve. And in here we can have self-improvement as well, daydreaming. So a lot of things can be distracting you and doesn't allow you to know what is happening beneath. Partially because you are kind of scared to look at what is happening beneath. What do we have here? These birds actually represents what is going on in your subconscious, which at this point is really running the show. So they are deciding what happens in your external reality. If they don't want you to do something, they will give you extreme anxiety. If they want you to do something, even if it is not good for you, they will give you extreme cravings. So they are the ones taking care of that. This could be battle emotions, traumas. And for people that is not comfortable with talking about traumas is nothing different from just childhood learnings, just learnings. I talked about the topic and the girls in my classroom laugh. So I have learned that that's not a topic to talk. And then you repress those hobbies of you, for example. Your family is constantly tell you that the most important thing that you can do is studying and learning. And they are not very happy when you don't have a good grade. So then you learn that you really need those things in order to be loved by others, or that simply is extremely important, the most important thing in your life, right? And maybe that's not true for your inner truth. Maybe for you there are more important things, but you learn that. It could be here as well suppressed thoughts, things that you don't want to look at. Like, for example, maybe you like to think of yourself as somebody cool and with a lot of friends, but there is this thought running in your head from time to time that you don't want to hear about. I'm not sure if my friends are actually treating me right. Or the same can go to a relationship, but you are too scared to be alone or to look at the fact that maybe you are not as cool as you thought. And I will mention limiting beliefs. These are the most important things that you need to look at in order to fix everything else. So if you have problems like wanting to control everything, bad relationships, low self-esteem, perfectionism, all of those in the end come from one of these root causes. Yeah. So it is in the root causes that we want to fix. So anyway, and in the end, below everything we have clarity and what I will call the pure you. Who you really are, what really matters to you, without considering other people, influences, or your fears, or your insecurities. Yeah. And how to know if you're in this phase? It is very simple. If you have never removed these distractions, and you have never had, I don't know, emotions out of nowhere came up, or you have never done shadow work for your traumas, you are in this phase. And sure, maybe you have seen a lot of YouTube videos about how to be less of a perfectionism or how to achieve this. It doesn't matter, because that means looking outside, right? The point is, have you looked inwards? If you have done that, maybe you are more advanced, but if not, you are here. This phase, guys, it is the birds, it is your subconscious who is running the show and is deciding what do you get in reality. And they are doing it to try to help you, but this is true. So at this point, I would say that the best advice is to accept reality. Don't try, at least temporarily, don't try to change it, don't keep putting yourself out there to get something. Just accept it and stop chasing. Stop chasing things that you don't have yet. And your focus should be the inner work. And this is the key. At this point, you want to put all your energy on dealing with what you have here, nothing else. This is the most important advice. Here, changing your habits. If something is really crucial to you, sure, you can try, but at this point, changing your habits is going to be really difficult, because these people are going to be sabotaging you. The same as changing your external reality, you are not going to be objective enough to change your reality to something better, or it's going to be way, way harder. That's why it's better to just focus on the inner work and let the other things be. Does that mean that you should be completely isolated at home? It depends. At this stage, what I will suggest is do whatever makes you feel energized in order to have better focus on your inner work. So if you're a very social person that feels really energized being with people, even if these people are not the best, sure, go out, because that's gonna give you energy to then focus on your inner work. If you are a person that gets drained by other people, or that one single comment from anyone that is slightly mean can derail you and make you feel worse, and then you have to spend 2 weeks without being able to do any inner work because you're suffering, in that case, I think it's better to isolate, just to focus on inner work. So only do what makes you feel energized. And of course, things that have to do with real life that you cannot avoid, right? Or that will create a big problem in your life, like leaving school or stuff like that. So keep that going, keep the basics of your life going, but focus only on inner work and in anything that makes you feel energized to do more inner work. At this point, also, you need a level of conscious control. You cannot trust yourself completely, what your body feels like doing, or your interpretation of certain situations, because you don't know how much is true and how much is being reflected or projected from here. So keep a level of control, don't let it go too much. Now let's say that you start working on this. I will make a video to go to the details, but basically the first step is removing distractions. Then it will be easier to see what is going on in here, and well, there are different methods to deal with it. For emotions, for example, it's as simple as feel the emotion where it comes, let it happen, just feel it. For trauma, there are other activities that you can do. Slowly, what you're going to realize is that you start to see clarity. So it will be a phase of suffering, because you're going to have to look to a lot of things that you don't want to be looking at. This suffering means that you're going to be more tired than usual. You will need more sleep, better eating. So in here, I would suggest to focus really on self-care and don't be too demanding of yourself in other areas. Just stick to the basics. But the good thing is that for every emotion that you release, every trauma that you will remove, you will start to feel better inside of you. Less spiraling thoughts, less crisis, less overwhelming emotions. Things will be there, but you will feel way less. Things will be there, maybe somebody makes you a mean comment, but you don't mind that much. It's like, okay, you maybe only feel a bit negative about it for like 10 minutes and then forget. So you're going to be feeling much better inside of you, much calmer, much peaceful, and this is going to motivate you to keep doing. You're going to start gaining inner harmony, and with it, slowly but surely, you are going to get more clarity. The less birds we have here, the more inner harmony you have, more calmness, your emotions are not completely overtaking your thinking, you will see the reality and everything more clearly. So at this stage, everything that we said in the phase 1 applies. Accept reality is gonna be, it is what it is. Add more self-care, and you will slowly see the impact in the inner harmony. Now, I would suggest to do this facing demons at least for 2 weeks or 2 months, something between 2 weeks and 2 months, alone. And then I will say that the rest of the phases can go in parallel. Maybe you still have a few birds to catch, but you can already start moving to some of the most interesting stuff. What is that? Let's say that the next phase will be change and action. You have already removed a few of the birds, the distractions, and now you have access to your inner truth. Now, you are not just gonna get access and know everything about yourself. The way that you know yourself is by experiencing things in real life. So things happen here outside, and I will say here you have to focus on exploring. And by experiencing those things, the inner you will tell you, oh, I love this, I'm feeling so good, or this is definitely not for me. Yeah? So at this phase, we are exploring. Also living our usual life, we will identify that some areas that we thought were bad, actually they are not bad. It was our projection that people doesn't love us, but then we will see, oh, okay, no, these people were actually caring about me. For other areas of our life, we will do them, like for example going to work, and we will realize, oh no, this was definitely bad, there is no doubt about it, I just cannot keep doing it anymore. So you will get clarity about what is good and what is bad in your life. While before, you couldn't totally trust your opinion, right? Because you didn't know if that opinion was true or was based on your insecurities or your subconscious beliefs. So this is the moment to explore, and this is the moment for change. What you can change in the moment, change it. Other things what will require from you is a decision and an action plan. Like, I don't like my work. Okay, so maybe I need to think, what do I want to do next? Start exploring. Then find some training or studies on that area. When you finish that studies, start applying for jobs in that different area, right? It's just an example, but some things you cannot just change in the moment. But at least making the decision that I don't want this, and I am gonna focus on change it, and I am gonna start executing an action plan, is already gonna make you feel much better, because you are gonna realize that you are really in control on changing those things that you don't like in life. Here, you will start to feel much better, because you will see how things are changing, and you will see how things are changing. Your inner world is looking much better, so you will be feeling really great. This will be a great moment as well to start new habits, right? Like changing how you eat, changing the sport you do, whatever. It's part of exploring, and also because you no longer have the birds stopping you, it will be kind of easier to create this type of change in your life. Okay, finally, what is the last phase? This is where everything looks nice, right? I will describe this phase as having inner and outer harmony. You no longer have parts of yourself conflicting with each other, like, we need to do more. No, we need to rest. No, you're being lazy. There is not that discussion. You have good access to your inner world. And well, I want to mention as well in phase 3, another thing that you can start doing is practicing balance. This would be what routine works for you, how much time to dedicate to this type of change, but how much to dedicate to relationships, how much time to dedicate to just experiencing life, right? Because this is still out there and you are still supposed to be living your life and enjoying it. So explore and try to find a balance that works for you, that feels good. So having said that, in the final phase, harmony, you will have a better idea of your balance, so you will not have to be fighting yourself. Inside, you're going to feel very well. Then you're going to start to see that the outer world is reflecting your inner truth. And not because of any magic, but because you put the effort and the actions to make it reflect what you wanted, right? You improve what you had to improve, you put yourself out there, you put your actions plans to get there. And that's, of course, also gonna feel you much, much better and confident. Not just because of the limiting beliefs that you remove, but because of the simple fact that you are achieving things. This is the moment where the advice that you should really be taking would be you can be as intuitive as you need because now you have access to your real intuition. For example, intuitive eating. Eat what you feel when you feel it. Sleep what you feel when you feel it. This type of advice, you can follow it, and especially let go. Let go of control completely. Let go of always improving something. At this point, really focus on experiencing life. When something really can benefit you from improvement, you will feel it in your body, so you don't need to be constantly scanning for it. When you want a change, you will feel it, so you don't have to be analyzing anything. Just let go, be intuitive, enjoy life. Just be in the present, right? Enjoying life. If from time to time any of these verses start to be annoying, again, you will notice it. And when you notice it, you can say, oh, maybe I will handle this Saturday. But don't stay in the loop of always changing, always checking yourself, seeing what else. Let it go. Just let life and your internal sensations guide you. The final thing I want to mention is that in this period, it can be complicated because the old habits, you are not gonna like them anymore. Like maybe you no longer crave eating the same things, or you don't like drinking, so that's not covering. But the new habits are not yet there, or the new things. For example, maybe you are feeling very lonely and that's why you eat unhealthy food. Now that unhealthy food is no longer fulfilling you, but you still don't have new relationships to make you feel better. Meaning this can be an uncomfortable time, right? Be aware of this, that you can have unmet needs, and this is completely normal. If your needs are unmet, there would be probably some coping mechanisms there. So if you are struggling, for example, to change the habit of what you eat and you keep struggling and not making it, do not be too hard on yourself. It is completely normal that some coping mechanisms will need more time. Just consider what unmet need that coping mechanism is covering for, and try to, at least, if you cannot get the relationships already right, at least try to get a better coping mechanism if you can find some. For example, you feel lonely, you don't have a girlfriend yet or too many friends. Maybe you can try to deepen your connection with your mother or your brother or someone else, right? That doesn't feel like that cool. Maybe you think it's not the same, but again, it's a better coping mechanism than eating a pizza, right? And if you are not able to do that, again, be compassionate to yourself. Keep working on getting the relationships. Keep working on the shadow work. At some point, you will be able to move. So understand that this will take time. And during this time, you might still have some coping mechanisms that you're gonna need. Good. So this is what I wanted to describe today. The last thing I'm gonna say is how I understand the whole topic of, do I accept things as they are or I improve in general? The way I see it is that when you live in the present, let's say that the present is right now, the next hour, 4 to 5 p.m. In the present, in this hour, I cannot change my circumstances. I cannot get a girlfriend. I cannot change anything, right? So when you're in the present, the only thing that can be done is accept and enjoy the most of it. If you are alone in your room, listening to music, at least ensure that you are fully living that music. If you don't have friends, try to make the most of the relationship with the people that is there. Even if in the present you cannot change anything, and the reality is that you are always living in the present. So always try to live following this mantra. Now, let's say that you want to improve your life, right? To live. I would say, first of all, let go of the outcome. Don't focus on getting a girlfriend. This is not going to help you. It's only going to make you frustrated. Out the outcome. What you do is commit to put effort to get closer to it. For example, every week you're gonna do something, and based on how comfortable you feel about it, you will do different things. For one person, committing to put this effort can be asking somebody out every month. For another person, it can be, okay, I will just keep conversation, small talk to somebody in the grocery store. Beautiful care, if that feels good, or if I am even scared of that, maybe I will give conversation to a granny or a man, right? Just to get used to it, and you can always progress later on. Putting effort can be improving your hygiene, could be going to a psychologist to help you with some blockers, could be going to a coach that will help you on how to socialize. So there are 100 different things that you can do. And again, let go the outcome. The reality is that you don't control whether you get a girlfriend or not. Depends on you, depends on outside people, depends on circumstances, on timing, on 100 things. So this is what I would suggest. Always accept and enjoy the present as if that's all there is always gonna be. And the only thing that you do if you want something different is commit to put the effort and put that effort to get closer to it. And then the world decides what you get and what you don't get. And for people that will tell me, I have already tried, I'm already so tired, I have tried everything. Being honest, I'm not sure if people have really tried everything when they say that. As I mentioned, they have tried a coach, they have tried a psychologist, they have tried everything, starting a new hobby, asking for help on getting introductions, asking for feedback on what you could change. There are 100 things that you can do, or people are just trying 2 or 3 things where they feel confident doing, and they have tried again and again and again. Like I've tried going to Tinder and going to clubs and flirting when I am completely hammered. And I have tried that like 100 times, and now I am frustrated. Okay, so maybe it is not about doing the same thing that you feel confident doing again and again and again, but it's about really doing different things. So I wanted to leave you with that reflection, and I hope this video helped. If it, please let me know, and I am happy to add more detail on how to handle each of the cases. Thank you very much.